मालिकपन का नशा सदा रहता। तो ये जो बीच बीच में समस्याएं वह विघ्न आती है, वो आ नहीं सकते। वैसे देखा जाता है तो समस्या वह विघ्न आने का आधार विशेष मन ही हलचल में आता है। इसीलिए बाप दादा का महामंत्र भी है मन मना भव। तन मना भव, तन मना भव नहीं है, मन मना भव। अगर स्वराज का मालिक है तो मानव मालिक नहीं है। मालिक आपका कर्मचारी है, राजा नहीं है। राजा अर्थात अधिकारी, अधीन वाले को राजा नहीं कहा जाता। तो रिजल्ट में क्या देखा कि मन के मालिक मैं राज अधिकारी मालिक हूँ। ये स्मृति, ये आत्म स्थिति की सदा स्थिति कम रहती है। पहला पाठ आप सबने पहला पाठ क्या किया था? मैं आत्मा हूँ। परमात्मा का दूसरा नंबर पाठ है, लेकिन पहला पाठ मैं मालिक, राजा, इन कर्म इंद्रियों का अधिकारी आत्मा हूँ। शक्तिशाली आत्मा हूँ। सर्वशक्तियाँ आत्मा के निजी गुण है। तो बाप दादा ने देखा कि जो मैं हूँ, जैसा हूँ, उसको नेचुरल स्वरूप स्मृति में चलना, रहना, चेहरे से अनुभव होना, समस्या से किनारा होना, इसमें अभी और अटेंशन चाहिए। सिर्फ मैं आत्मा नहीं, लेकिन कौन सी आत्मा हूँ? अगर ये स्मृति में रखो तो मास्टर सर्वशक्तिवान आत्मा के आगे समस्या व विघ्न की कोई शक्ति नहीं जो आ सके। अभी भी रिजल्ट में कोई न कोई
ओम शांति। अव्यक्त परिवार में आपका स्वागत है। आज है दिन 13। अशरीरी व विदेही स्थिति का अभ्यास बढ़ाओ। आज का विषय है कर्मातीत अवस्था। अव्यक्त इशारे जैसे 1 सेकंड में स्विच ऑन और ऑफ किया जाता है, ऐसे ही 1 सेकंड में शरीर का आधार लिया और 1 सेकंड में शरीर से परे अशरीरी स्थिति में स्थित हो गए। अभी अभी शरीर में आए, अभी अभी अशरीरी बन गए। आवश्यकता हुई तो शरीर रूपी वस्त्र धारण किया, आवश्यकता न हुई तो शरीर से अलग हो गए। यह प्रैक्टिस करनी है। इसी को ही कर्मातीत अवस्था कहा जाता है। अभी हम मोहिनी दीदी से सुनेंगे।
सभी हमारे कर्म योगी कर्मातीत बाबा के बच्चों को ओम शांति। सभी ठीक हैं, सभी मौज में हैं, खुश राजी और मौज में रहो, क्योंकि संगम युग पर बाबा के साथ खुशी मौज और खुशी राजी और मौज में नहीं होंगे तो कब होंगे। कई प्रश्न पूछते हैं, खुश कहने का बाबा के साथ रह के भगवान मिलने के बाद खुश नहीं है तो कब होंगे और कौन करेगा ना। अपना भाग्य ऐसा बनाओ, कर्म ऐसा करो तो सदा खुशी रहेगी, राइट। और फिर भगवान भी राजी रहते हैं ना। भगवान भाग्य भी तब बनाता है जब पहले हम अपने भाग्य को अप्रिशिएट करते हैं। क्योंकि भगवान को भी सुदामा के चावल तो लेने पड़े ना। द्रौपदी के क्षीरहरण का पहले से ही वो हिसाब तो बनाना पड़ा ना। तो कर्म के बिना तो भाग्य नहीं बनता और भाग्य के बिना भगवान भी नहीं मिलता। नहीं, इसलिए गीत है तकदीर जगा कर आई हूँ। तो हम कहते हैं जगा के आए हो या जगाने के लिए आए हो। तो जगी हुई को फिर जगाते हैं ना। अगर जगी हुई नहीं हो तो हर एक बाबा का बच्चा हर मिनट मेरा कितना सौभाग्य है। कोई भी बात, कोई भी घटना, कोई भी परिस्थिति, ड्रामा तो चलेगा ही, राइट। परंतु अंदर से क्या निकले, वहां बाबा तो ठीक है, पर सदा ही वहां मेरा भाग्य। तो ये बहुत बहुत अच्छे शब्द हैं जो उमंग उत्साह भी बढ़ाते हैं, मत भी बढ़ाते हैं और खुशी भी बड़ी होती है, राइट। तो ये बहुत जरूरी है। हम लोग हमेशा ये सोचते हैं कर्मातीत अवस्था बनानी है, बहुत ऊंची स्थिति है, कैसे बनेंगे, कब बनेंगे। तो दादी एक बार दादी जान की आई तो बोला विकर्मा जीत, प्रकृति जीत, फिर कर्मातीत। विकर्मों को भी नष्ट करना है, पिछले विकर्म वो योग बल से खत्म होते हैं। तो आत्मा जो है वो शुद्ध हो जाती है। तो आज बाबा इतनी सिंपल परिभाषा दे रहे हैं कि सुन के आपको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। आपको ऐसे लगेगा कि यार ये तो हम कर सकते हैं, ये तो अभी भी कुछ परसेंटेज में हम हैं ही, और भी हमें आगे करना है। तो कर्मों से अतीत। अतीत का मतलब होता है न्यारे। तो कर्म किया, फिर कर्म ही याद आता रहे, नहीं, न्यारे हो जाओ, कर्म पूरा हो गया, फुल स्टॉप। ऐसा नहीं किया होता, वैसा करते तो अच्छा था, पर वो तो हो गया ना। तो कई बार जो किया हुआ कर्म होता है ना, उसके बहुत संकल्प चलते हैं। हाँ, हम लोगों को याद है बाबा जब शुरू शुरू में भाषण करना होता था, तो 10 पॉइंट लिखे, 20 लिखे, फिर बाबा कहता था आके देखो कितनी भूल गई थी ना। तो कई बार 17 ही बोल पाते थे तो 3 भूल गई। लेकिन बाबा ब्रह्मा बाबा मुरली चला के आते थे, कमरे तक जाते थे। जो बाबा ने कल पहले बोला आज भी बाबा ने बोला, फिर आगे का चिंतन चलता है। तो क्या मुझे पीछे का चिंतन करना है या आगे का? तो कर्मातीत अवस्था कैसे पता चले कि फुल स्टॉप हो गया, बहुत अच्छा है। हाँ, कई बार क्या होता है कि कोई ऐसी चर्चा ऐसी घटना हो जाती है, बार बार मैंने ठीक किया कि नहीं किया, मैंने कहा देखो कर लिया ना, रिएक्शन हुआ जो कुछ हुआ उसका, पर कर लिया ना, अब आगे का मनसा सेवा करो। हाँ, शुभ शुभ चिंतक रहो, शुभ चिंतन करो। तो कर्मातीत में आगे का कर्म भी, और वो भी एकदम नहीं सोचो। जैसे कई बार क्या होता है, शुरू में लेक्चर करते थे हम तो आपस में बैठते थे, तो जगदीश भाई कहते थे मैं जब लेक्चर सुनता हूँ तो मैंने जो तैयारी की होती है फिर मैं सोचता हूँ इन्होंने जो बोला मैं या तो मैं ऐड करूं या जवाब दूं, आप क्या समझते हो? मैंने कहा वही बोलो जो तैयार किया है, वही उचित होगा। क्योंकि हम हमेशा ये सोचते हैं इसने ये कहा तो मैं जवाब दूं। नहीं, चाहे लेक्चर में चाहे किसी भी बात में, वो कर्मातीत अवस्था नहीं है। क्योंकि आपकी बुद्धि कर्म में चली जाती है, थोड़ा गहराई में जाना पड़ेगा। हम्म, बस पूरा हो गया, ड्रामा पूरा हो गया, फुल स्टॉप लगाया, आगे करना है। पर पिछले से थोड़ी हमको कनेक्ट करना है, नया करो कुछ, थोड़ा अलग से सोचो। लेकिन वो कंटिन्यूअसली चलता रहता है। हम्म, कभी ऐसे हो भी जाए ना अगर अपने से, मैं ये सोचती हूँ कि अच्छा दूसरे का रिएक्शन अच्छा नहीं हुआ, आप अपनी स्थिति रखो, शुभ चिंतन रहो, परंतु ये याद रखो क्या कि ड्रामानुसार ये होना भी उचित था। हो सकता है आपकी भूल हो, परंतु वो भी जरूरी था। क्योंकि कई बातें ड्रामानुसार हो जाती हैं, अपने से या दूसरों से, उसमें भी कुछ कल्याण होता है। तो इसलिए कभी भी बात बैठ के उसकी चिंता नहीं करनी है। हम्म, चिंता करनी ही नहीं है, कर्मातीत, अतीत हो जाओ, न्यारे हो जाओ, बाप के प्यारे हो जाओ। बाबा हर एक आत्मा आपकी संतान है, आप ही जो है वो इनको सुमति दो, अच्छी बुद्धि दो, तो ठीक हो जाए बात। हमारा कोई हिसाब किताब है वो चुकत हो जाए। तो बड़ा अच्छा इंटरेस्टिंग तरीका है, कर्म योगी और कर्मातीत अवस्था, दोनों कर्म योगी से कर्मातीत होते जाना है। ओम शांति।
अव्यक्त मुरली रिविजन 1969 से। ज्ञान के रतन और स्नेह के मोती।
ओम शांति। अव्यक्त वाणी। तारीख है 23 अप्रैल 1977। बाप द्वारा प्राप्त सर्व खजानों को बढ़ाने का आधार है महादानी बनना। कितने बार सोचते व कहते हो, यह भी रॉयल रूप का पश्चाताप ही है। समझा कौन से संस्कार है? सूर्यवंशी के व चंद्रवंशी के। बहुत समय के संस्कार समय पर धोखा दे देते हैं, तो पहले स्वयं को स्वयं से धोखे से बचाओ, तो समय के धोखे से भी बच जाएंगे। माया के अनेक प्रकार के धोखे से भी बच जाएंगे। दुख के अंश मात्र के महसूसता से सदा बच जाएंगे, लेकिन सर्व का आधार समय को व्यर्थ नहीं गवाओ। हर सेकंड का लाभ उठाओ। समय के वरदानों को स्वयं प्रति और सर्व के प्रति कार्य में लगाओ। अच्छा, सदा सर्व खजानों से संपन्न, व्यर्थ को समर्थ बनाने वाले, सदा प्राप्ति स्वरूप, हर सेकंड और संकल्प में पद्मापति बनने वाले, ऐसे अखूट खजाने के अधिकारी आत्माओं को बाप दादा का याद प्यार और नमस्ते। अच्छा, आगे की वाणी कल सुनेंगे। ओम शांति।
बाबा जो स्मृति देता है मैं उनका ही चिंतन घड़ी घड़ी करता हूँ। बाथरूम में जाता हूँ, मैं आत्मा मेरे को समर्पित किया शरीर शिव बाबा को, तो अब शिव बाबा के रथ को पानी मिल रहा है। बताते हैं। खाना खाता हूँ, साथी है ना मेरा, मैं उनके साथ खाता हूँ। मैं दूसरों के साथ क्यों खाऊं? पहले तो साथी के साथ भोजन करूं मैं। तो जैसे जैसे बाबा के अंदर साकार में संकल्प होता था, वो उस टाइम हमको पता थी, तो हमारे में भी आया जोश, तो हम भी ऐसा करें। अनुभव सुनाया नहीं, अनुभव चाहिए कि एक बताना तो सहज है, हाँ भाषण करना, पर वो अनुभव अंदर जो कर रहा है वो अनुभव हमको बता, जिसके अनुभव के कारण बाबा के साथ साथ कई परिवार समर्पित हो गए प्रैक्टिकल में। पर वो फिर भी हद में थोड़ा अपने घर बार से समझो समर्पित हुए। पर आज तक भी इतने 60 बरस से हर एक पुरुषार्थ करता है कि मेरा स्वभाव बदल। देह का स्वभाव कभी कभी आ जाता है, ये कब भी ना आवे, है किसकी एक रस अवस्था, अचल स्थिर अडोल। कहीं भी परिस्थितियां आवे, कोई परिस्थिति में न हिले। वो तभी नहीं हिलेगा जब ये जो है सिर्फ घर बार का, ये शरीर का ये अर्पण नहीं है, परंतु सूक्ष्म मन और बुद्धि जो हमारे पास देह अभिमानी मन है और देह अभिमानी जो है बुद्धि है। हाँ, सब समझते हैं, पढ़े लिखे होंगे कहेंगे हम बुद्धिमान है, हमारे संकल्प ये है, हम तो यहाँ बैठे हैं ऐसा दुनिया में, हमको सब कुछ करना, यानी अपने अपने संकल्प चला के अपना चलना। बाबा तो कहते हैं कदम कदम श्रीमत पर चलो। वो कदम जो कदम पर रखा वो ब्रह्मा बाबा आज तक हम सुन रहे हैं। बाबा कहते हैं कदम कदम श्रीमत से चलो, परंतु हमारा मिक्स होता है, कभी श्रीमत कभी मनम, इसलिए हम सब पीछे।
Om Shanti. Increase the practice of the bodiless stage, Ashariri and Videhi, Karmateet stage. Just as a switch is switched on or off in a second, in the same way, take the support of your body in a second and become stable in the bodiless stage in a second. Come into your body one moment and become bodiless in one moment. Adopt the costume of your body when there is a need, and then when there is no need, become detached from your body. You have to practice this. This is known as the Karmateet stage. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. Today is day 13. Increase the practice of the bodiless stage, Ashariri or Videhi. Today's topic, Karmateet stage. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti, canopy of protection, our sustenance, our inheritance from one Supreme Father. And of course, there are many of us who must have received, even from Lokik Father, you get your inheritance from Brahma Baba, his love, his drishti, and what he has made us today. We cannot give just credit to Shiv Baba, but also to Brahma Baba. His drishti created worthiness in us, created lot of love, a likeness. Shiv Baba always gives us his light and his might. So we receive so much from all the fathers. And father always, when he is earning, he starts saving. So when we say, why is he saving? Because he wants to give his children inheritance or whatever way, Father always saves to give to children. And that's what Brahma Baba did. Shiv Baba also is doing to us. And Lokik Father also thinks that way. And the gift which Father gives is his teachings, not only blessings, right? Some of us get so dependent on blessing. But actually, Baba always says, don't ask for kripa, but study properly. So today's, we all are studying, and this month we are paying attention to be karma yogi. But every day when Baba gives homework is different. Baba is saying be karma yogi and also karmateet. Baba had been saying since few days about detached observer, be detached and also lovely. But today Baba is just saying, just be completely detached. Karmateet stage. Because after spending few days very busy doing kitchen work, doing this, doing that, and in the end we don't feel good about anything because you were not able to be karmatit. Do it. While doing you were happy, but after that you should be more light, double light and very happy, right? No heaviness of anything. That is one thing I realized, which I used to believe, Lord, that sometimes you say something and maybe it, I think your intentions are good. You are thinking of well-being of that person, but other person doesn't take it well. So you are concerned. No, but don't waste time in that. You had to say it was in drama. And the reaction and the response of other person is okay, whatever it is, right or wrong. But at least we know many things about our future, about that soul's future. So have good wishes. Do Mansa Seva for everyone instead of getting concerned and what we can do, lot of wasteful thoughts. So I suggest everyone to remain carefree and be detached. Atit means just be away, forget, detach from that action. That means don't keep thinking about action, it should have been like that, it shouldn't be. Because to become free from the action is that you shouldn't think about it, no? It's done, very good done. But lot of linkage comes. We call it lot of long tail. So it's very important and a good practice. And I think you can really feel very good about it. Karma Yogi and a Karmatit stage. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Avikti Parivar. Om Shanti, Sister Gayatri.
Om Shanti Maitri, how are you?
Very good, lovely to see you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this interview
Yes.
or chit chat.
Yes. So a little bit about Karmateet, and based on what Didi was sharing about the practice of coming and going in between actions, and she said that really Karmateet means that having no thoughts, becoming detached. But thoughts do come, especially if you were not so content with the action that you just performed. And I'm trying to be detached from it, go into, because even in Avid's signal, Baba said it's like turning on the switch and turning off the switch. But what if you were really involved in that action and you don't, it's not allowing you to be detached so instantly. What awareness or what method can we use?
Well, my understanding of being Karmateet, as she just said, it's the word atit means to let it go. So you've done the action, right, as a karma yogi, and then you're letting the action go. So you're not holding on to the action. And so one of the reasons we hold on to our actions that we've done is that we were not in the right awareness to begin with.
Okay.
So it's not, the awareness isn't after the fact I've done the action and now I'm struggling to be detached from the action. It won't happen like that. But it is, what did I do before I did the action? In other words, what field did I plant the seed of thought in before I took the thought and made it into an action? Because actions come from the seeds of thoughts.
Right.
And so, well, what field, what inner field, or what inner awareness that the thought was nurtured in? So if I begin at the beginning and not begin at the end, we tend to begin cleaning our mess up after the mess is finished, right? So what Baba is saying is, let's start at the beginning. And so the awareness is first to be bodiless. I, the soul, I'm not influenced by the body, the senses of the body, or even the karmas that are there in the form of sanskaras that have been acquired from Ravan. I'm not influenced by all of that, but I'm just becoming bodiless. And in becoming bodiless, you're actually detached from the body and all the extensions of the body. Then you're becoming a karma yogi. Your awareness now is that I, the soul, am connecting to Baba, and I'm drawing from Baba. What is it he wants to inspire inside of me? Because now I'm his instrument. So what does he want to play through me so that I could then do the action? And so that is like I'm connecting to Baba to be inspired by Baba before I actually do the action. So the awareness is being an instrument, but an inspired instrument, an instrument that is in tune with what the player wants it to play. And Baba is the player of I, the instrument. So then I feel actually the experience first before I decide this is the action I want to do. So now the example that Didi just gave was that I have the right intention. I'm motivated by a greater good for the person. I'm even creating a tone of voice that's kind and caring, and I'm choosing words that would support the kind and caring nature within me. But after having done it, the person says, well, I expected better from you. This is not something. So if I know I followed the inner awareness and the stage of being an instrument, and I was inspired to do this, my intentions were connected to a greater good. My tone, everything was tuned in to how Baba would want me to do it. And after I did it that way, then I have no regrets. Drama made me do it that way. Baba inspired me to do it that way. And so if someone didn't, as Daddy Janki would say, if someone didn't understand my bhavana, then the recognition is not my fault. It's because I recognize this is what I want to do. But the fault is in their recognizing what I was offering to them as a gift. So once I am sure of my inner dimension, my inner, as it says, my awareness and my inspiration and my stage of being a karma yogi, then the atit is there. I would hand it over to Baba and I would walk away.
Okay.
In other words, if I've used the right method, I've already received the attainment from that method. And so I'm not looking now for the person to acknowledge it, for the person to tell me how good I am, for the person to tell me that, what you just did really worked for me, because that's out of my control. Atit means it's out of my control. You just do the action and give it to Baba, and let Baba give you back the fruits of that action. And that's how I understood it.
Okay, so Karmateet is the result of being Karma Yogi, right?
Right. And
And
Karma Yogi means the result of being in the awareness of Baba's instrument. And of course, the humble instrument.
humble instrument, yes. One thing that I really, because I was thinking about the intellect, especially after Sunday's Morley, and how Baba revised the course of how our sanskars created. And then he said, your mind creates a thought, and then intellect cooperates that thought. Intellect becomes cooperative. So even in this situation, taking that example, I did something and someone was now taking opposite example, that they were really praising the soul, that you did great, but how to keep the intellect not influenced by praise or defamation.
Again, it's Nimit Bhav. It's that the feeling of being a humble instrument. So the intellect is full of ego. Two things Baba says, that we have the intellect and the mind, which is the intellect and the heart in a way. They work very closely together. So what he said in Sunday's Murli, that the intellect, the mind is where the causes of the upheaval lie. So the causes of the upheavals that the soul is experiencing, the mind is the culprit, in the sense that the mind works very closely with the senses. They're best friends. They're forever best friends. So whatever the senses want, the senses would influence the mind with it. And we see it with our addictions. We see it with our bad habits. We see it, our laziness and our carelessness. So the mind then is convinced by the influences of the senses, which are connected to the upheavals of the outside world. And then the mind is now mischievously playing around with that. Now, the intellect is so lazy. The intellect is in its own arrogance, right? And the intellect is looking for distractions and attractions. So the intellect, because of its laziness and carelessness and lack of discipline and concentration, the intellect would say to the mind, oh, really? Let's go along with this. Let me do. It's fine, Let's go have a party. And who cares about the consequences and the hangover of the party? And so then the sanskaras of that would get formed, and they're called acquired sanskaras.
Right.
Now, Baba is saying that the intellect is actually something that he works with as soon as we become his children. So he gives us the divine gift. It's a grace gift. It's a godly gift of divine insight and a divine intellect, because the intellect is the balancing, the balance of the sanskaras and the mind. So if the intellect is connected to Baba, automatically that intellect is stabilized. Right? And the intellect is my power to remember. The mind doesn't remember. The sanskaras don't remember. The power of reason, the power of conscience, the power of remembrance are all abilities of the intellect. So the more I listen to Baba, the more the intellect churns on what it's hearing from Baba, the more the intellect is connected to Baba as it's hearing the Murli. The truth that is embedded in the soul, the intellect is recalling it. It's called smrti. It's recalling the memories of the truth that's lying within me. And then the intellect begins to work with divine insight. And so what I need to surrender is, of course, the mind, manmanabhav. It's, of course, the sanskaras need to be transformed. But I need to surrender the arrogance of the intellect. And what Dadi Chandramani was talking about today, it is not just renouncing the physical body consciousness, but it's renouncing that subtle arrogance and ego, and it's living in the intellect. So when someone praises you, as you were saying, give it to Baba. When someone insults you, remember what Baba says, the arrogance of the intellect and the feelings of being insulted, the cooperation of the mind and the intellect is happening there. And that is how we get disempowered, when these two cooperate with an arrogance and feelings of being insulted. So he's saying we have to work with that. And the intellect, the training of the intellect is one strength, one sport. I did something good, and this is called Karmateet as well. I did something good. Baba, you did it through me. I did something not good. Baba, I must have been distracted from your remembrance. So let me come back to you. So your whole, who is evaluating your actions is not another human being, but it's Baba. And
Right.
Baba is the merciful one. Baba is the compassionate one. Baba knows what it is we need to learn from that mistake we've made. And so he then helps us to concentrate on what it is we needed to learn rather than how to correct a mistake.
Wow, you put so much light on the senses. That was very nice. So, where does awareness play a role in this? Is that with the intellect as well? When we stabilize in the awareness that I am the humble instrument, Baba is inspiring me to play this part. Is that stabilizing the mind into an awareness or using the intellect at that time?
But remember, you don't break the soul up into pieces, because you're one, right? It's like saying, I'm deep breathing. I'm doing some deep breathing exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the mind? Is it the heart? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it the lung? Or is it the nostril? Or, is it the flow of the energy of the whole body? So you can do that. You have to say everything is actually participating in this deep breathing. The whole body is. So it's the same with the soul. However, awareness, you ask a very nice question, because Baba is asking us to practice Videhi and Ashariri. They're both bodiless states, right? So
Right.
I am, the moment I say I am a soul, I sit in the center of my forehead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the body. I'm a separate entity from this body. That means I'm Videhi. I am detached from the body. Now, I know I'm a soul, but you remember Sandip Murli what he said? Are you an ordinary soul? Or are you a soul with self-respect? So that's the awareness now.
Okay.
As I am soul conscious, what is the awareness I have of myself? Now, the awareness is coming from my original and eternal sanskaras, right? They're there in the subconscious of the sanskaras, but the intellect is remembering it.
Okay.
So the intellect is connecting to remembering who I am. Okay, I'm in the consciousness of being a soul, but the intellect is now remembering the awareness I should have in this moment in time. And then the intellect is feeding those thoughts to the mind.
Okay.
So then the mind is generating creativity in terms of thoughts. But what is triggering the thoughts in the mind is what the intellect is remembering from the being soul conscious and the awareness that the intellect emerges within my soul consciousness. So they work, all three work together.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll try this out, the practice.
Yeah. So when we're practicing Videhi tomorrow,
Mhm.
we must, it's the switch on and off.
Yes.
So now I'm in the awareness, the switch is ready to be put on. But
Mm.
who's putting the switch on? It's the intellect. And
Mm.
that switch of the intellect is bringing me into awareness of my highest self.
Right.
All right. And then the mind is generating thoughts that would then the mind and intellect will cooperate with to make a decision in terms of what actions I should be doing. And then it regenerates the eternal or the original sanskaras within the soul.
Okay, got it. So, but this switching on before action,
Yeah.
right?
But before you switch it on, you need to know that the current, where the current is coming from. So
Right,
it's coming from the bodiless stage. So
right.
be bodiless first, then put the switch on.
Got it. Okay.
Switch of awareness. Yeah.
So separating from the awareness of the body and then turning on the switch.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
I'll try this out.
Otherwise, you're going to get a mixture of body consciousness and soul consciousness if you don't become Videhi first. And then the intellect puts the switch on of awareness of
Okay,
what is the quality of the soul. That's awareness.
right. Who am I? What type of soul am I? Right.
Exactly. Mhm.
Mm. I also had some question from today's Morley.
Mhm.
I found it interesting how Baba started off today saying, "You do not need to thank me," because Baba said so many times he's playing his part. But
Mhm.
then at the end, when he finished off the Morley, he said, "But you should appreciate your fortune." And in Hindi, it was the same word, no? That shukriya, that you should have shukriya for your bhagya.
Mhm.
So, what was Baba's playful way of doing this today? He says, "Don't thank me in the beginning, but you should thank your fortune." So, what was the secret?
Well, that's the secret. Don't thank me. Thank your fortune.
That
Okay. So,
many
all
times
right. On the path of bhakti, we would go to Baba and we would ask Baba, Baba, please give me mercy. Baba, please give me blessings. And um, it doesn't matter. I am who I am, and whatever I am, I'm yours. So give this to me. And then we would promise Baba on the path of bhakti, if you give me this, I will do this. So once he gives it to me, I come back and there goes the deal. I don't do anything. Normally I forget how that this is what I said to God. Um, but he's saying that before you could thank Baba, and this is how he ended it, the movie with, you have to understand that he's a father. He's giving you an inheritance. The inheritance comes from the Maryadas, the code of conduct that the father is asking you to live by. And so in that, you're getting your inheritance. He's not just giving you an inheritance in which you could misuse that inheritance, unlike other fathers. The father, Sister Mohini says, the father works. And why is the father saving that first penny of his salary? Is so that his children could inherit it. And so the father is now, this Supreme Father is giving us an inheritance, but he is not going to have us misuse it. So he's set some codes of conduct and he sets the Maryadas and said, okay, when you do it this way, you're going to get your inheritance. And then you thank me for doing it. That's your fortune. As a teacher, he teaches us. He says, I'll give you knowledge. I'm not going to have mercy for you. Don't come asking me for mercy. Go pick that Murli up and study it. Because in the Murli, I've given you methods. I've given you yuktis. And he was using the word yukti, be diplomatic, be tactful. So I'm giving you yuktis in which to live your life, because I know you're going to have to practice these teachings in a world that is against the teachings, as it were. It's a world of falsehood, and I'm giving you truth. So you have to live the truth in a world of falsehood. So there's a lot of resistance to the truth that I'm giving you. So I'm giving, you have to be yukti yukt. You have to be diplomatic. You know, you have to know what you're saying. Otherwise, people would say you're insulting them and all of that. So he's saying, that's my mercy. I am telling you, teaching you how to do something. And this is where the divine intellect comes in, because Baba is giving us signals and subtle signals, and he's giving us some extra kind of tips of how to deal with this world and live by the truth he's giving us. So that's his mercy. And then, of course, the Satguru. The Satguru is the one who says, follow the Srimat. You know, just don't understand what I'm saying and just don't look at the inheritance, but it's called Karmateet, right? Your actions are very important. Your karmic footprint is very important, because each one, if you follow what I'm saying, carries 100,000-fold blessings in it. So this is how he gives the blessings. It's a kind of a template that he gives us and said, use this, you'll get your inheritance, you'll get your mercy, and you'll get your blessings. But at the end of the day, you would inherit these three things as your fortune. So one, you will thank your bhagya, and then you will thank the bhagya vidata, because you will then connect the two. But if you just get it without making your efforts, then you won't thank either one. You won't thank your fortune, nor would you thank the bestower of the fortune. And so that is what he was saying. You know, children, listen up, understand how God works, understand the way he's helping you to create your fortune. He cannot create a fortune for us. He can help us create our fortune by giving us his presence and making accessible to us everything that he is and everything that he has.
Wow, this was very nice. I didn't think this that way. I was thinking, he said, don't say thank you to Baba. So somewhere I said, okay, because every time one is to praise Baba, but
Mhm.
one is to keep saying thank you. But I felt I was just floating on the surface of the ocean.
Mhm.
That thought won't allow me to go deeper. But this was very nice that he gives us a template to create the fortune. Yeah.
And the Murli also, you know, he said, keep this word play in your intellect. And then he went into all the things of the drama that we should have in our intellect. Now, all of that is connected to fortune.
Right.
And even the efforts that we are making now, he said, it's because of what you did. Your fortune of the last cycle is actually going to determine the quality of the efforts you're going to make now. And so even you thank your efforts for like opening the fortune for us. So it was a very beautiful thing, because Thanksgiving, we're coming up to Thanksgiving soon here in the United States, right? And I'm saying, well, I was reading the Morley to Australia, to the family in Australia. So I had to read it yesterday at 2 p.m. because it was Wednesday morning for them. So I was saying, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and Baba says, don't thank him. Thank, thank your fortune. So, but of course, the humility in our souls, the beauty of what Baba brings to our life, how can we not thank him? He
Yes.
knows that, but he wants us to be very clear that it's not a cheap thank you.
Right. And I found it interesting as you were saying, he said, keep the wordplay in your intellect. And then he gave all these titles, Swadershan Chakradhari, Trilokinath, Trikaldarshi. He said, you are masters of everything that I am. So even before making my fortune, he's giving me what I am.
Mhm.
So that was quite interesting how Baba works.
And also, he paints the landscape of
Right.
our fortune, and it's an unlimited landscape.
Mm.
So if I look at the landscape on which I'm actually reclaiming my fortune or making my fortune, It's unlimited. There's no limitation to the landscape of past, present, and future. There's no limitation to the landscape of knowing the three aspects of time. There's no limitation to the landscape of Trinitri looking through the third eye. You know, it is a wide open field. And he's saying, go out there and play and make your fortune.
Right. Wow, wonderful. And then one,
Beautiful.
yeah.
I was going to say beautiful. Your questions are beautiful.
No, it's good I got a chance to talk to you today. Um, and then one more thing about the blessing, going back to the word yukti.
Mhm.
And today he was connecting the three words, spirituality, in Hindi it was ruhaniyat. And then he said yukti yukt, being tactful. And third one was liberation in life. And he said you have to be, well, spirituality is the basis of Brahmin life. But with that spirituality, you need to be yukti yukt in your thoughts, words, and deeds.
Mhm.
And when you are yukti yukt in these three, then you will experience liberation in life. So could you explain the three connections? I was finding difficult to understand the balance between spirituality and yukti yukt, ruhaniyat and yukti yukt.
Okay, so let's just do an example here. So Ruhaniyat, the spiritual principle is be detached and be loving,
Right.
Nyara or Pyara, right? So
Mm.
that's a spiritual principle.
Hmm.
So now I'm living in a family
Mm-hmm.
and I'm being detached and I'm not being loving,
Mm.
right? I don't know how to do the both. I don't know how to live by the spiritual principle of detached and loving.
Okay.
So then he says you have to be yukti yukt because in your being detached, you can't your relationship shouldn't feel you're abandoning them. Your relationship shouldn't feel that you no longer care for them. Your relationship shouldn't feel that there is a distance between you and them. So
Mm.
there is where you have to be yukti yukt. Now, if you are yukti yukt in the way that Baba is asking you, it's like you are conquering your inner attachment
Mm.
in being detached and loving. And the more you conquer your attachments and your conditions and your expectations, it's the more the love will flow from you. But
Okay.
you have to be yukti yukt in doing that. You can't sit them down and say, you know what, I'm being detached and loving here. And you know what, I'm trying to get rid of my attachment. And you know what, you're going to become the victim of it because you're going to feel the sorrow of me getting rid of my attachment. So, that is what happens. And he's saying, no, it shouldn't happen like that. If you're yukti yuk, you'll be very clever. You'll use subtle methods. You will know what you are dealing with on the inside and don't make another person experience the sorrow of what you're dealing with because you don't know how to deal with it. So you project that on someone else and they then feel the sorrow of it. He says none of that. Now he says if you're yukti yuked, what you will experience is liberation in life. And liberation in life is a little bit like, he says, the snake would die, but the stick wouldn't break.
Mm.
And what that means, that idiom or metaphor, it means that I will conquer their hearts
Mm.
without damaging the relationship.
Mm.
And that's called Jivan Mukt.
Interesting. So if that middle piece of becoming yukti yukt is missing, then my spiritual principle could actually cause a bondage instead of liberation.
Instead of liberation, exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know if you have time.
I do, but I don't know if Avyakti Parivar has time.
Right. Maybe one more question.
Uh-huh.
It was more so for personal effort. We just had silence retreat in Peace Village
Mhm.
last
Oh, were
weekend.
you at that
Yes.
retreat?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
great.
very, very beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, there were so many experiences, and it felt very natural to be in silence. But then, as soon as we came out of it, we were overloaded with our daily routine and all the service that you have to do. And I felt so easily, I lost that experience which I had. So that journey from going from sound to silence felt natural. But coming from silence to sound, I felt that I was losing that touch with what I had over the weekend. So, how can I hold on to that experience and continue with that stillness, that solitude?
Mm. Okay, well, experience is returning to your spirituality. You see, the difference between spirituality and religion is that spirituality is all about experiences. It's the power of your experience. That's what spirituality is. Religion may be the power of the word, of the scripture, the word in the books. But spirituality is actually the power of your experience. Bible calls it the authority of your experience. Now, that authority that you gained from the silence retreat, no one should be able to take it away from you.
Right.
Because you, the soul, now embody that. So
Okay.
there will be tests, however. What happens is that Ravan or Maya, Baba says, have been observing you and would say, as soon as she comes out of that safe environment, I'm going to attack her. And I'm
Right.
going to attack her at the level I know I will confuse her at, or I will overwhelm her at, or I will intimidate her at. So it will be like a punch. You're going to get the first punch from Maya. But you return to the core of the authority and said, the days spent in silence, I accumulated the power of yoga that became my authority. So you go there and you stabilize yourself in that because it's living within you. And then you look at what Maya is doing to you. And then you will conquer her with the authority of your experience. Now, when we were in Madhuban, and we used to do silence retreats, a little bit different from, I think, the way you all do it. Didi Man Mohini, whenever we would do a silence retreat, she would come and conduct Amrit Vela.
Okay.
And she would sit there, and she was a very, very powerful yogi. And she would sit there, the embodiment of that power, and she would give us drishti. And that drishti would cut through all the layers of the darkness in the soul and would go and land in soul consciousness, in the soul. So you would feel yourself very, very light. It's like all the darkness, all the shadows, all the clouds get removed, and you were now purely the silver lining. You were the light in this dark cloud. And then you would feel her lifting you up and connecting you to Baba. I remember this experience so much. That's why I like silence retreat, because that experience I could never forget. And then she would lift you and you would connect to Baba, and then you would feel Baba being your companion, Shiv Shakti, and you would feel all of Baba Shakti, his power, coming into you. And so, of course, you're ready to take on the whole world. But the amazing thing is you never forget that experience. So as soon as you come back down and Maya hits you, that's where you go. You run back to that space and you stay there. So just as how I remember that, you may remember a significant experience you had of the weekend. Then you go back there because that's your stable, your one strength and one support, and your stable, unshakable, and immovable stage. So that's where you need to stay after a silence retreat. And that you go back into your silence. And what is your silence? Consider yourself to be a soul and remember Baba. That's silence. And that has to be done as you're in actions.
Right.
Right. So you have to say, well, who is more powerful, me or all the service I have to do? No, I am Baba. And then you do it. You manage what you have to do as the master.
Okay.
Anybody could tell you to do anything. Everybody could give you a pile of things, a list to do, but you're the master of your capacity and how much you could do and when you can do it. And don't allow anyone to force you to do something. You're doing it for Baba, and Baba will guide you in terms of how to do it. And that's silence. That's the power of silence.
Beautiful. Okay. I'll create that space of authority of experience.
Yeah.
That was nice. Okay. Thank you so much, Sister Gayatri. This was very helpful. I'll definitely
Okay.
use practices. I'm sure Avikti Parivar will do too.
Yeah, I'm sure. But thank you. You were wonderful and you asked very beautiful questions.
Thank you. Have a good
Okay.
night.
And to you too.
Om Shanti. Tomorrow is Thursday and our schedule from Amrit Vela 3:30 a.m. to 4:45 a.m. 8:30 a.m. We'll connect to Double Foreigners Madhvan online program, and there will be a class by Sister Gopi, Secret of Elevated Effort. And in the evening, 5 to 5:30 p.m., a victim children Murli class, 5 to 6 p.m. English Sakar Murli, 6 o'clock, but we will start, followed by Bhog offering, Hindi series, English series, and chit chat. Now let's remember Baba and take Drishti from Didi.
देह की मिट्टी से बड़ी दूर आओ चले हम अपने घर। देह की मिट्टी से बड़ी दूर आओ चले हम अपने घर। चांद तारों से दूर, इन नजारों से दूर, चांद तारों से दूर, इन नजारों से दूर, प्यारा प्यारा लगे है अपना घर। देह की मिट्टी से बड़ी दूर आओ चले हम अपने घर। जहाँ रहते हैं प्यारे प्यारे शिव बाबा, ज्योति स्वरूप उनका मन में है मेरे जागा। जहाँ रहते हैं प्यारे प्यारे शिव बाबा, ज्योति स्वरूप उनका मन में है मेरे जागा। सबसे निराला रूप है उनका, जग पे है छाया जादू जिनका। चांद तारों से दूर, इन नजारों से दूर, प्यारा प्यारा लगे है अपना घर। देह की मिट्टी से बड़ी दूर आओ चले हम अपने घर। कर्मों की नाव में बैठे कर ले भव का सागर पार। शिव बाबा की गोद में लेटे आंधी तूफान होंगे मेरे पतवार। नैया लगेगी अपनी किनारे, उनकी कृपा से हो जीवन उधार। चांद तारों से दूर, इन नजारों से दूर, प्यारा प्यारा लगे हैं अपना घर। देह की मिट्टी से बड़ी दूर आओ चले हम अपने घर। चांद तारों से दूर, इन नजारों से दूर प्यारा प्यारा लगे हैं अपना घर।
ओम शांति, ओम शांति।